Castillo and Charles LaPaglia. You see it right there. Eastern outscoring the Beacons by 4 in half number 2 to move to 2-1 overall in conference play. Eastern moves to 8-5 on the season. The Beacons' 3-game winning streak comes to a close. UMass Boston 7-5, 1-2. All right, we will end the broadcast right there. Make sure to be back with us in about 20 minutes. Well, about 5 or 6 minutes at this point for our men's broadcast, as the Beacons will host the reigning Little East Conference regular season champs, the Eastern Connecticut State University Warriors. Hello and welcome to the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium for game number 2 of our Little East Conference doubleheader. It's Eastern Connecticut State, the reigning Little East Conference regular season champs, winners of 21 consecutive regular season matchups in conference play, against UMass Boston, looking for their first win against a conference opponent in their last 19 tries. This year, though, both teams are pretty strong. Eastern Connecticut State ranked 21st in the country, coming off a tough loss to number 18 Amherst College. The Beacons, 8-3 on the year, coming off a 60-45 win over Framingham State. Let's check out the team statistics right now, as UMass Boston, one of the top scoring teams in the Little East Conference. Their offense has been potent this year. They come in 4th in the conference. Eastern Connecticut State, it's been their defense that's been so good. 61.4 points per game, good for second best in the Little East Conference. Looking at the rebounding, both teams towards the top of the conference, ranked 2nd and 3rd. Eastern Connecticut State with a ton of size. The Beacons with a ton of athletic prowess to help them be strong on the boards. Let's check out the team leaders right now. Some of the top players in the Little East in this game. Carl Joseph, 2nd in the conference in scoring. Trayshawn Preston, he's 3rd. Those two guys will battle today. Karl Agenor, he's number 1 in the conference in rebounding. Hugh Lindo's number 2. So you really will see some of the top players in the conference. Both of those players undersized forwards who just use a high motor and some great leaping ability to help their case in going after it. Gregory Young leads the Beacons with his 4.2 assists per game. It's Preston with 3.8, and then Lindo has done such a great job in all assets of the game. He's not a huge scorer for Eastern Connecticut State's Bill Geithner, but he does a lot in other places. Is even this year, 6.5 points per game, a little bit ahead of where he was last year for the sophomore out of Enfield, Connecticut. Let's check out the all-time series right now, as Eastern leads UMass Boston 45-20, but they've won 11 straight games in the series. The Beacons haven't beaten the Warriors since January 30th, 2009, a 75-69 victory. Eastern actually won 3 matchups against UMass Boston a year ago, 2 regular season contests, and then a 61-55 win in the Little East Conference quarterfinals in a matchup between the number 1 and number 8 seeds. Trayshawn Preston had 18 in that game. Brian Salzillo, a graduated senior, had 19, as those two combined to shoot 48%. It was UMass Boston freshman Sam Freeman who led the team with his 11 points. Check out the starters right now for the Warriors, who sit at 10-3 on the year. No surprise, Trayshawn Preston in the lineup along with Tarshi Brown. Tarshi's freshman out of Rockville, Connecticut, has been the team's third leading scorer, 13.4 points per game, as he's hit 23 pointers, good for second best on the team. Kevin Lou Mean, the junior guard out of Stamford, Connecticut, 2nd on the team with his 14.2 points per game. And then down low, it'll be Hugh Lindo, the tremendous rebounder, and Brandon Kuzinski. Kuzinski, the sophomore out of Naugatuck, Connecticut, played in 29 games a year ago, averaging 3.5 points, 3.1 rebounds. This year, making his 2nd start of the season, 4.3 points and 3.1 rebounds, as the Warriors have gone the past 2 games without Brandon Yarborough. He's not in the starting lineup today. Senior out of Stamford, Connecticut, one of the team's glue guys, and the Beacons out without one of their normal starters. Luke Ulysses unable to go today, so the Beacons will need a little bit of help in the backcourt, as Ulysses has been one of the Beacons' main playmakers. Let's check out the Beacon starters right now, as they'll announce themselves.
Small forward out of Dorchester.
My name is Leo Medina. I'm a junior point guard, and I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts.
Omar Benabicha,
junior, shooting guard, Saugus, Mass.
Carl Joseph, senior forward, Brockton, Massachusetts.
Karl Agenor, junior, power forward, Dorchester, Mass.
The Beacons are coached by 39th year head coach Charlie Titus in his final season as the Beacons head coach. Took over the program when UMass Boston became a Division III program back in 81-82 and has been with UMass Boston ever since. Bill Geithner on the other side, 13 years. He's the winningest coach in program history for the Warriors, 198 and 146. Coached the Warriors to the first ever 14-0 season in conference play a year ago. He's a three-time coach of the year, two regular season titles, and they won the title back in 2012, his only tournament championship. They have been in the NCAA tournament in back-to-back seasons. Today's referees, James Slattery, William Flowers, and Matthew Levine. My name is Seth Dorensky as we are just about to tap game number 2 here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. UMass Boston looking to avenge that postseason loss against the Warriors, in which they were tied at halftime and really stayed with Eastern the whole way before eventually falling by 6. Looking at the 3 matchups from a year ago, it was Eastern's prowess on the boards that stopped an upset. The Warriors out-rebounded the Beacons by an average of 17.7 rebounds per game, and they pulled down 16 offensive rebounds. Eastern, one of the biggest teams the Beacons will face all season long, with a couple of big men listed at over 6'6", so UMass Boston will need to do a great job of team rebounding. They'll also need more out of Karl Joseph and Gregory Young, as those two combined for just 20 points per game in the 3 matchups. Joseph this year alone is averaging over 20 points per game. It'll be Joseph in there with Lindo, and Lindo wins it back to Trayshawn Preston. Preston working against Leo Medina. Medina in his first season with the Beacons out of Brockton, Massachusetts. He was the starter for the early portion of the season. Ulysses supplanted him in the starting lineup, but with Ulysses unavailable, he's in there with Omar Benabicha in the backcourt. A nice take there from Kevin Lumine, but he's unable to finish. Medina out ahead for Joseph. Joseph too strong on the layup, as there was a nice job by Lindo to get underneath him and make it difficult. Lindo takes it himself, stripped by Agenor. Agenor, the junior college transfer in his first year with the Beacons, out of Dorchester, Massachusetts. Attended Garner Magnet High School in Garner, North Carolina his first 2 years. As Young takes it hard, gets blocked by Lumine. Agenor around Kuzinski and draws the foul as Kuzinski picks up number 1. Agenor misses the first. The second one is off the mark as well. Agenor, a pretty decent shooter. 72% on the year, leads the Beacons, but unable to break the seal on the first 2, as Beacons have had a couple good looks at the basket. 3 is up. Air ball that time, a bit too strong, out of the hands of Tarshy Brown. It's a fast-paced first couple minutes as Joseph can't make the catch on the pass from Medina. And the scoreless start continues. Already through 4 possessions here in the opening minute 16, as Young nearly comes up with the steal. It's Preston pushing it, finds a player down low in the form of Tarshy Brown, and now the Beacons will get the rebound, and that could be the second on Kuzinski, and it will be. So Brandon Kuzinski picks up 2 fouls in the first minute 26. He'll head to the bench. Kuzinski listed at 6'5", 240, a former football player at Naugatuck High School. And now into the game is number 50, Brandon Yarborough. So not in the starting lineup, but he gets in there fast. Agenor off the glass and good, working against Yarborough, who's a little bit smaller at 6'4", 190. The Beacons do not have size, no real post player, as Agenor draws the charge there, That's already 3 fouls on Eastern, all 3 coming working against Karl Agenor. Medina dishes it off to Young. Looking for Agenor, wide open Gregory Young, and he gets the shot to fall that time with the finger roll. Great start for the Beacons in this one, leading 4-0. They've moved the ball extremely well. High energy start for the Beacons, who, as I mentioned, looking for their first conference win in their last 19. Went 0-15 a year ago with that loss to Eastern Connecticut in the postseason. Lost their last game of the 2012-2013 season in the 4-5 matchup between UMass Boston and Southern Maine. That game up in Gorham. And then 0-2 to start this year, a tough loss at Keene State in a game that was north of the 90s. And then a 23-point loss against Rhode Island College here at home. Rhode Island College, the preseason favorites in the Little East Conference. Strong drive. Player loses his footing. Then there's a shot altered by Karl Agenor, if not blocked, as it was Kevin Lumine slipping to the ground here at Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. Joseph finds Benabicha up top. Medina with it. The Beacons are at their best when they're moving the ball unselfishly. UMass Boston's offense much better than it's been over the past couple years. Really don't have any post presences to bog them down as Agenor draws some contact, can't get the finish. Now it's Yarborough pushing Joseph to the three-point line. Agenor up top, he can shoot it from 3. Joseph, who's a very good three-point shooter, 9 of 18 this year, will pull out and the Beacons will reset. Eastern Connecticut State still looking for their first points. The Beacons looking to push this lead. Young all the way to the tin, can't get the finish. Ball's popped up, and the rebound eventually falls into the hands of Kevin Lumine, who averages 5.9 rebounds per game, good for second on the team. It's Lumine across for Yarborough, over to Preston. Preston finds a diving Tarshi Brown, the finish, and the and one, as Omar Benabicha has his name called for the first time, and not for a positive reason. That's his first foul, the Beacons team's first, and we'll see Carl Joseph head to the bench. Joseph's been quiet thus far. Stephen McGuire, one of 5 seniors on this Beacons roster, the captain out of Rancho Cucamonga, California, in as the free throw is off the mark from Tarshi Brown. Came in second on the team with a 73.7%. McGuire catches the long outlet pass and immediately onto the board. McGuire in his second season with UMass Boston averaging 4.5 points per game. He saw a lot of time in the Beacons' first 4 or 5 games, was starting, but has been sent to the bench and has not seen anywhere near as much time. Guarding Yarborough here, and we've got a travel there as Yarborough was sliding there with 2 Beacons towering over him. And even off the inbounds, the Beacons trying to push the pace. McGuire across for Young, over to Medina. He'll take the long 2, up and good, and it's an 8-2 lead. I don't know if the Beacons can sustain this pace, but it's certainly given them some early energy as Agenor with the rebound off the miss from Lumine. Ahead for Young. Young leaves it for Agenor, too strong. Agenor can't get that rebound. A strong rebound from Hugh Lindo. That's a fun battle to watch, those two. Number 1 and number 2 in the conference, both players averaging over 10 rebounds per game. And Bill Geithner will take his first time out with 15:22 to play in the first half. We'll take a break with the teams as it's a 6-point Beacons advantage.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown, and it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
Eastern ball out of the timeout. Kevin Lumine looking for the inbounds, finds Hugh Lindo, who goes up the ladder, but can only imagine how high that ladder can go for Hugh Lindo, the very talented player out of Enfield, Connecticut. As the shot off the mark, rebound from Yarborough, who's into the game after 2 early fouls for Brandon Kuzinski. Up top, it's controlled by Tarshi Brown. Down low, good pass for Lindo. Swings it across, a nice pass up top. And it's Brown leaving it for Lindo once again. For the trailer, Yarborough. And Eastern Connecticut State, some great ball movement. One change for UMass Boston. Out of the timeout, it's Sam Freeman in there for Karl Agenor. Freeman catches the pass and hangs on to it too long there as Lindo was up in the air just as long as Freeman could last. Freeman trying to avoid the block, instead turned it over. Ball is loose, put up, and another easy bucket for Lindo as the Beacons will call a timeout. Back-to-back buckets for Eastern. As a full timeout for UMass Boston, and we'll take a break with the teams. Charlie Titus is clearly agitated, and we'll see if he can respond after Bill Geithner made some changes in the last timeout.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate.
Beacons ball out of the timeout. Leo Medina leaving it off for Benavicha, the junior out of Saugus. Freeman will try to do better this time and does so. Sophomore guard out of Boston, Massachusetts, attended New Mission High School. And for one reason or another, he's had a lot of success against Eastern Connecticut State. A pair of double-digit point games against the Warriors in 3 all-time meetings. And it's Lumine over to Yarborough. Now Lindo being guarded closely by McGuire. Across for Tarshi Brown. He swings it to find Lumine. Lumine on the up and under and gets it to fall. Nice reverse there as the Beacons have 2 players waiting to check in. Joseph and Mike Campbell stolen away there. Brown going 1v1 against Benavicha. Puts it up off the glass. And all of a sudden we're even at 10. So after a good 8-2 start, Eastern has found their way back into this one. Benavicha up top for Gregory Young. Eastern in a man-to-man defense, as are the Beacons. Young working hard against Yarborough, has it stripped away. Lindo comes up with a steal. Brown looking to push the paces. It's Preston rimming in a 3, and all of a sudden Eastern Connecticut State has the lead at 13-10. Controlled by Medina. Picks up the dribble up top for Young. Young will take the long 3. Front rim no good. McGuire taps it up, but Brown is there first, and Benavicha will be called for his 2nd foul of the game as he reached in looking to poke it loose. Oh, they're going to call it against McGuire rather, so a break there. McGuire and Benavicha will head to the bench along with Sam Freeman. Fred Epps, the Beacons' backup point guard, in there for Leo Medina. Carl Joseph and Mike Campbell and Karl Agenor out there. So 4 out of the 5 players brand new for UMass Boston. Agenor got the start alongside Joseph. Epps, the Beacons' backup freshman point guard, and Mike Campbell, junior college transfer, who's just back onto the Beacons roster after missing most of the first semester with some family issues. He catches the long outlet pass and will draw the foul on Michael Thomas Skiro, junior guard out of Westerly, Rhode Island, just into the game. It's actually Shiro. Got some help from a pleasant Eastern Connecticut State fan who is sitting right in front of us. As Campbell gets the first free throw to fall. Campbell, the junior out of Boston, Massachusetts, attended Bunker Hill Community College, where he was an All-American in the NJCAA, as that one's tapped out of bounds off the Warriors. And the question now is, do the Beacons they're actually going to call a lane violation. 2 players went in. The Eastern player went in first. Carl Joseph followed. And it will go, the original call was the Beacons will get the an extra free throw, and it will be an extra free throw here for Mike Campbell. Campbell, 2 of 3 from the free throw line this season. He had 8 points in the Beacons' win over Framingham State. Listed at 6'2", 205, and gets the second one off the front of the rim, off the back of the rim, and out. So either way, got 2 chances. The second one couldn't finish. Only the second one counted. As Ivan Cutts Jr. sits at the scorer's table waiting to check in. Young trying to come up with a steal on Shiro, and he's called for the foul. He'll check out here. That's his first. Already 14 fouls against both sides. So we're just 42 in. And Cutts will be in there, the junior transfer. Fred Epps nearly comes up with a steal, throws it into his own defensive side of the court, and it's picked up by Lindo there. Nearly a great play by Fred Epps. Epps, the freshman guard out of Randolph, Massachusetts. As he'll see more time with Ulysses out on the lineup, and we're going to get a foul. Joseph was working against Tarshi Brown. And he'll be called for his first, team's 5th. UMass Boston going deep into the bench thus far. Already had 9 players see action. It's an awkward little shot there that Fred Epps comes up with the rebound. Cuts another Boston native as Campbell looks to go to work. Campbell across for Karl Agenor, acrobatic catch. As all 5 players out there for UMass Boston, Massachusetts natives. 3 of them from Boston proper. Campbell to the lane, puts it up too strong. Agenor with the rebound, looks to put it up and gets it to go. Karl Agenor, who had a great start to the game against Framingham State with 8 of the Beacons' first 11 points. He's got 4, as there's a poor pass there from Lindo. Epps looking to take it himself, puts it up too strong, and then Joseph a bit too strong with the follow. Eastern has a 4-on-3 if they want it. Brown a little bit too strong, rebound loose, and Agenor, after it went in and out of the hands of Yarborough, picks it up. This has not been the cleanest of halves thus far, as Joseph takes it right into Lindo. He's called for the travel, can't believe it. And Joseph immediately has some words for the trailing referee. So Tarshi Brown to the bench. Kevin Lou Mean back in. Both of them are scorers for this Eastern team, ranked 21st in the country, coming off a 8-point loss to number 18 Amherst College, as Shiro nearly loses the dribble. Gets it across for Preston, big-time score. The floater off the back of the rim, no good. Agenor looking to push, 3-on-3. Leaves it off for Joseph. Joseph all the way, draws the foul, and one opportunity. And the Beacons bench very happy with that result, as Joseph's been a little quiet to start second semester. Finished with just 9 points against Framingham State, but it's a big basket for him, his first points here against Eastern Connecticut State, a team that held him to just 13 points a game a year ago in 3 games. Joseph gets the free throw to fall after hitting every part of the rim. Shooting 67.9% from the free throw line. He's one of the top shooters in the conference overall, 57.1%, good for 3rd best, as he was a football player and basketball player at Brockton High School, along with track. A big block there from the All-American in the high jump. Participates in outdoor track and field for the Beacons, a 3-time All-American, in fact. Campbell all the way to the rim and lays it in. And UMass Boston's going small, but they're going very athletic. And we've got a timeout from the Warriors. Eastern struggled early. They found a way to change it with their timeout. UMass Boston struggled. They found a way to change it. Can Bill Geithner come up with yet another answer? We'll get you that answer after this timeout.
Come on, Jake.
As usual, she wins it. A chance in front. Her shot is in the net. Crystal Layden, yet another goal.
Please make a gift to the Beacon Athletic Fund today.
We want you on our team.
Back to live action here at the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. My name is Seth Dorensky, bringing you all the action of today's Little East Conference doubleheader between UMass Boston and Eastern Connecticut State. It's the Warriors with the ball out of the timeout. Lindo up top, backdoor pass. He was looking for Preston. Instead, it's Mike Campbell with the steal. Campbell's brought a ton of energy today, as that time it's a bit too strong there, and Campbell kicked it. Instead, they're going to claim that it was kicked by Colin Jordan just into the game, the freshman guard out of Cheshire, Connecticut. It's a break for the Beacons. Joseph, being guarded by Lindo, puts it up too strong. Agenor, another offensive board. He goes up amongst the trees, puts it up off the glass, and good. So the Beacons had a player kick it and then turn it over. Call went against the Warriors, and then they take advantage of it with a nice putback by Karl Agenor. The lead is 7. That's as big as it's been for UMass Boston. 9:23 to go. Great backdoor cut by Kevin Lumine. And the Beacons have some words between Joseph and Agenor as Young and Medina prepare to check in. UMass Boston has been going with some short stints for everyone out there, trying to keep their players fresh and pushing the pace. It's Ivan Cutts Jr. looking to do something here as he's tied up by Kevin Lumine. And it'll stay with the Beacons. Cutts Jr. giving up some size to Lumine. Lumine listed at 6'2", 205 as Cutts will head out. Cutts and Epps to the bench. Medina and Young out there. Campbell catches it, puts it up, and now we've got a stoppage. The referees were looking to change the shot clock there, and UMass Boston had a great play out of the timeout. Bill Geithner wasn't happy with it. The Eastern bench asking for the points to come off the board. 9:03 to go. Referee still talking to Geithner after having a conversation with Titus. And Agenor continues to wait to get the ball back for another inbounds pass. For the Beacons, it's Agenor, Joseph, Medina, Campbell, and Young. Inbounds pass this time to Joseph. Goes up, gets the foul, front rim, no good. And he'll have to earn it from the free throw line. It's Colin Jordan's first foul, team 6, so the Beacons will be shooting the 1-and-1 on the next foul. Joseph 1 for 1 from the free throw line today as he gets that one to fall as well. The Beacons move to 3 of 6 from the charity stripe. Eastern is 0 for 1. It's something about the rims today and maybe the temperatures outside. The women's game was filled with poor free throw shooting as well. These teams nowhere near as bad as their percentages have been. As the Beacons going with the full court trap. Yarborough across for Jordan. 2-on-1. Leaves it for Lindo. Agenor the last player back. And Jordan gets a nice feed from Lindo and puts it in. Nothing Agenor could have done with that one. Now Campbell all the way to the rack. Up with the right hand. And Campbell is showing off why he was such a prolific scorer at Bunker Hill Community College. Lumine leaves it off for Yarborough. Yarborough picks up the dribble up top for Preston. Preston has hit a 3. He's been mostly quiet, though, as Jordan, the backup point guard, whose brother Michael played for the Warriors in lacrosse, will give it down low, and it's a turnover. Lumine had his foot go on the line. If Eastern Connecticut State is good at basketball, they're great at lacrosse, one of the top programs in the Little East, although this men's basketball team is only getting better under Bill Geithner. Medina finds Agenor, elbow jumper, up and good. Karl Agenor has looked so good in limited minutes today. He's got 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting, and the Beacons' lead is 9. Campbell called for riding the hip of Jordan, and that'll be UMass Boston's 6th foul. First foul on Michael Campbell, as you see Agenor right there. Agenor is listed at 6'5", 205, but for about the first 2 weeks of the season, he led the country in rebounding. Had a 24 rebound game against Suffolk as Preston nailed a 3 with Medina under him, and Preston was looking for the foul there. But Agenor just a high motor guy who goes after everything as Campbell will take a long 2, and he's feeling it right now. He wanted the foul. As Michael Campbell right now, he's got 7. 1 point shy of his season high in just his 3rd game of the year. Give Preston a third. 3 threes. And the Beacons lead is 8, and the Beacons will call a timeout, trying to calm down and maybe cool down Trayshawn Preston, who's got 3 threes to cut the deficit to 5. Trayshawn's got 9 points, easily ahead of the rest of his side, as we'll take a timeout. Back to live action. It's a 5-point game, 7:27 to go in half number 1, as Medina controls it up top. Campbell to Joseph and Young. The Beacons swinging the ball proficiently right now. Joseph catches it just outside the block. Too strong over Lindo. Rebound Campbell and another bucket. The Beacons were really high on Mike Campbell in preseason. He didn't see much time in the Beacons' win over Colby Sawyer College. 15 minutes, 4 points, 2 of 7 shooting. And then he left the team for the rest of the first semester with some family troubles. In his second semester opener, 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting. In 13 minutes against Framingham State, he's already got 9 points in this one, and he's showing that he can be a dynamic player. It's a 3 from Lou Mean with the shot clock running down. Lindo tracks down the rebound, as there was 2 Eastern players on the near side. No Beacons in sight. 6:30 to go in the first half. The Beacons' lead is 7. UMass Boston has led for about the last 10 or 11 minutes in what would be one of the biggest upsets of the year. Lindo too strong. Another rebound for Yarborough. Preston looking for a 4th 3, and that one falls short. Outlet pass to Medina, ahead for Campbell, makes the catch, puts it off the glass and good. Leo Medina looks to push, and the Beacons make the play. Yarborough up top for Lindo. Now it's Preston. Strong move from Lou Mean. Left hand no good. Lindo with the tap, can't finish, and Agenor pulls down the rebound for UMass Boston. Ahead for Campbell. UMass Boston looked slow and sloppy against Framingham State. This is a different Beacons team here in the first half against Eastern Connecticut State. Medina down low for Agenor, almost tied up there by Yarborough. Agenor looks to work, can't get the first, and it's tapped out to Trayshawn Preston. Preston looks to go the entire way himself. He'll pull it out as Campbell called for the reach, and that's his 2nd foul. Bad news for the Beacons as Campbell picks up foul number 2 with 5:13 to play. He'll head to the bench, was going there either way with Omar Benabicha at the table, but that's tough as Campbell's been the Beacons' best player thus far. 11 points, 5 of 6 shooting, and Eastern Connecticut State didn't have much tape to look at on Campbell. As the free throw in and out there, first 1-and-1 for Trayshawn Preston. Agenor behind the 3-point line as Joseph looks to work on Lindo. Joseph can't get the finish. Lindo gets the rebound amongst 4 players, and it'll be Joseph being called for the reach, and that should be his 2nd foul as well. So he'll head to the bench. Stephen McGuire checks in. And Lindo will head to the line for the 1-and-1. Thomas Skiro is in. He's in for Brandon Yarborough. And now Lindo will head to the line. Eastern Connecticut State 0 for 2 thus far from the free throw line. As Lindo's free throw is too strong, 0 for 3. Eastern came in shooting .632 from the free throw line as Benabicha can't make the catch, and it's out of bounds off the Beacons. It's just the 5th turnover on UMass Boston despite the frenetic pace. Eastern with 7 turnovers of their own as Brandon Yarborough is over in the corner of the Eastern Connecticut State bench talking to the Eastern trainer. Lumine up top, 20 seconds on the shot clock, 4:35 to go in half number 1. It's Preston. Cross. He's got Brown. Brown, the long 2, no good. McGuire fights for the rebound, loses it, ball's on the floor. Young has it. Young can't find it. It's out of bounds, and it's going to go off of Medina, I believe, and it'll stay with the Warriors as two different Beacons appeared to have control. McGuire couldn't rip the rebound loose of a couple of Eastern hands, and then Greg Young had it and lost it as well. Off of Medina, new 30 for Eastern Connecticut State. Lumine looks to work on Young. Young has a foul of his own as the Beacons can't afford too much foul trouble. Lumine to Lindo. Lindo up top for Skiro. Now it's Lumine, under 10 to go. Up top for Preston. He's the guy they want with the ball. Long 2, and such a pretty shot as Trayshawn Preston gets the fall. He's matched Michael Campbell with 11 points apiece. Medina looking for the backdoor cut for Benavicia. Preston knocked it right back at Medina, and the Beacons will have to set something else up. McGuire looking to get around Skiro. Picks up his dribble. Beacons without Campbell and Joseph, two of their top 3 offensive threats today. Young draws the foul, tries to throw it off the glass, and he'll head to the line. The question is, was it a shooting foul or not? Appears it was. Either way, that was the 7th foul on Eastern Connecticut State, would have led to free throws. And Young will head to the line for 2 as Campbell will check back in with those 2 fouls. For Young, 57.6% free throw shooter. So he gets the first one to fall. Benavicia and Medina to the bench. Campbell and Epps back out there. Medina got the first one to fall. Rather, Young got the first one to fall to make it an 8-point game. Looks to make it 9 and does so. The Beacons, after a slow start from the free throw line, they're now 6 of 9. Eastern, uncharacteristic 0 for 3. Eastern breaks the Beacons press, and Preston will set up. Preston with 3 threes and a free throw line jumper for 11 points. As it's Tarshy Brown all the way to the rack and gets it to fall. Strong move there from the freshman out of Rockville, Connecticut. Epps picks up the dribble, gets it over to Campbell, who just had a short rest, working with those 2 fouls. Beacons without Luke Ulysses, but haven't missed him too much thus far as Young throws it up off the glass, taps on his own rebound, and the lead back up to 9. Young has 5 points and 4 rebounds. He had a double-double against Framingham State with 20 points and 11 boards. Controlled by Skiro up top. Skiro to Lindo. Lindo looks to drive around McGuire all the way to the rack, and he gets it to fall. Beacons associate head coach Tyler Papadinas called him one of the most athletic players in Division III. You can certainly see it on that one. He went all the way to the hoop around McGuire. Young thought about the 3, thought better of it. Over to Epps, and now McGuire. McGuire to Young, working against Lumine, rather Lumine, and Young is called for the travel before the missed shot. 2:07 to play as we'll see Salim Omerovich for the first time, as they are going to allow Omerovich to check in before the inbounds. Karl Agenor will get a short rest. Agenor already with 8 points and 10 rebounds in the first half alone. He's been the Beacons' best rebounder, 10 of their 21, as Omerovich going to be called upon to guard Hugh Lindo here. A bit of a mismatch. Omerovich was the last guy on the Beacons bench his freshman year, earned a much bigger role a year ago, and now he's a little bit farther down the depth chart as Trayshawn Preston hits the 3. And another timeout for the Beacons. It's a 4-point game, 1:45 to go, and we'll stay here. As looking at some of the stats from this first half, the Beacons shooting over 50%, 15 of 29. Eastern Connecticut State 46.4%, 13 of 28. The Warriors, though, with that 3, 4 of 8. UMass Boston 0 for 1 from distance. Rebounds, well, the Beacons own that advantage by 8. That's a pretty big win. Turnovers, even at 7 apiece. Second chance points, though, the Beacons with 6 compared to just 2 for Eastern Connecticut State. So Beacons doing a nice job on the boards to make up for Trayshawn Preston's hot shooting. The junior who was the Little East Conference Rookie of the Year 2 years ago and a first-team all-conference player as a sophomore, has a game-high 14 on 5 of 9 shooting. 14 of the team's 32 points and 5 of the team's 14 made field goals. For the Beacons, it's McGuire, Epps, Young, Omerovich, and Campbell here with 100 seconds to go in half number 1. Young up to Campbell. Has not scored since he went to the bench, and he's called for the travel, moving the pivot foot a bit. For Eastern, it's Skiro, Tarshy Brown, Trayshawn Preston, Kevin Lumine, and Hugh Lindo. As Eastern has a chance to cut this to a 1-possession game. The Beacons have led by as many as 9. And Skiro for 3. Gets it to fall, and it's a 1-point game. Michael Thomas Skiro came in averaging 3 points per game. Well, he got all 3 right there. Campbell to the rack, throws it up off the top of the backboard. And unless there's a foul call, it will go to the Warriors, as that one clearly tapped off the top. Controlled by Brown up top. Eastern with a chance to take their first lead since the opening couple minutes. Another 3 from Preston, no good. Strong rebound from McGuire. Gives it off to Epps, and the Beacons, as they've done all half, will look to push the pace. Young down low to Omerovich. Doesn't have a good matchup there, and he'll give it right back to Young. Step back 3, passes it up. Omerovich had Epps. Picks up the dribble, 18 on the shot clock. Omerovich needs help, finds Epps, tries to get it over to McGuire. And Skiro, there was a little bit of contact. He fell to the ground. The ball is out of bounds off of the Warriors. And if they rule that Eastern had control of the ball, the shot clock will be turned off. Or it'll be essentially the last possession of the half. 30.8 seconds to go in the half. Shot clock in basketball is 35, and the Beacons will hold for the final shot. As long as they're not called for a foul or turn it over, Beacons should take a lead in halftime. McGuire, a rainbow 3. And if you get 3 points, I guess Charlie Titus can't be too upset about it. McGuire, a decent 3-point shooter. Now they're going to call a foul on Epps, on Michael Thomas Skiro, who appeared to be extending a bit of a push on the smaller Epps. Either way, it'll be a 1-and-1 here for Thomas Skiro, as Eastern looks to hit their first free throw of the half. 0 for 2 on the 1-and-1s thus far, as Thomas Skiro knocks it down. He's got 4 points in the last minute of play. Skiro on the year, now 9 of 12, 75% from the free throw line. 11.2 seconds to go. The Beacons should have plenty of time to get another shot off as Skiro cuts the deficit to 2. Epps has it with 7. Trying to get it over to Young. Young's going to need to move and going to need to move fast. 4 seconds. Young has it go off of McGuire. McGuire can't get a shot off. And the Beacons, after a great first half, probably don't feel too great about holding on to just a 2-point lead. They're leading by as many as 9. UMass Boston, though, some great execution. They've pushed the pace, and through at least one half of play, they've stuck with the defending Little East Conference regular season champs. As you see the score right there, UMass Boston 39, Eastern Connecticut State 37. We're going to take a break, play you the top 10 plays of first semester here during the Beacons halftime show, and then we'll have your first half stats and your team leaders as the Beacons lead the Warriors by 2.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Paris changed my life, and I got there.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Beacon. I'm your host, Haley Denton. It's been a wild first semester here in Beaconville, with 7 teams posting winning records. With all that success, it's no surprise that the Beacons have put together some crazy plays. Here's the top 10 from first semester.
Double-double for Keeks is a distinct possibility. As we said in the pregame show, she has 4 double-doubles in 6 career games against Rhode Island. Entry pass from Geary. They'll swing it out to Burston, and she rattles it home off the back rim. Tajay Burston. Smith again towards the middle. Knocked up by Baker. Bumped by Glavin towards the back for Munchback. She'll get it over towards Wojciech at the middle. Steal gets denied. Murphy wins it for the Beacons. What a block by Julia Murphy. Brittany Steele had been dominant all match long, and when it counted most, Julia Murphy was there, and UMass Boston wins a thriller.
Hanging in front, and Clute steps in front of it. Here's a chance for Lima. She's like, in the goal! Lima puts the Beacons on top 1-0. And it comes with less than 3 minutes to go in the game. UMass Boston turned for their first postseason victory.
Peters on time to room at the center circle. A long ball ahead for Garufi. If this stays in bounds, the Beacons are in business, and she's good to go. Garufi, far side end line. Pass up ahead, goes into the back of the net. She was looking for Pugliese on the near post, and she beats the goaltender. Erica Garufi has given the Beacons a 3-2 lead with 10 minutes to play.
One of the nicest guys on the team, an honor roll student as that shot doesn't get through. Mike Kuhn able to knock it down. Pass in front, and it's Stephen Bucco one-on-one with the goalie. Bucco shot, score! Stephen Bucco, the senior out of North Providence, Rhode Island, and all of a sudden the Beacons take a 1-0 lead at 19-12.
I mean, Seth, that's the one guy, if you're Castleton, you don't want coming in on a breakaway. Stephen Bucco has a lightning release.
Eventually get it. It was one-on-one with McGuire. Double team help from Young, gets a hand in there, frees it up for his steal. This is Medina all the way up, alley-oop finished by Joseph. He's flying high today, folks. Lizzie Avison. Avison shot knocked down in front, and it looked like Garrett had a chance to turn it up towards the offensive end, but she loses the puck. This is Sullivan, look at the moves, backhanded shot, what a beauty. Alyssa Sullivan weaving magic in the offensive end. It's a 3-0 Beacon lead.
Wow, what a play by Sullivan there.
The ball looks to drive on Agenor, swings it out. Big block there by Gregory Young. He'll look to take it the other way. Young puts it up with the right hand and down, and the Beacons fans go crazy as that'll force the first time out. Young swatted the shot from Brandon Barboza, and then a huge dunk.
Being open all game long, and she hits 4 posts as well. Here she comes again, looping behind the defender. Layden pokes it on, and it's into the back of the net. 100 career goals for Krista Layden. Comes just 7 minutes in.
Expecting to be out. All right, time for Tuesday's top plays. UMass Boston women's soccer, but you can probably figure that out. Krista Layden heads the ball forward in between 2 defenders, chips the ball over the goalkeeper for the goal. She becomes the 30th player in
that championship goal. Silvera has one today. Silvera bending ball, backside shot, score! Score! It's at Milson Barrows! The Beacons are champions for the first time in men's soccer program history. Douglas Silvera the pass. And Milson Barrows the goal. And the Beacons are going dancing for the first time in program history.
Which one was your favorite? From all of us here at Beacons Athletics, we wish you happy holidays. And don't forget to check out the beaconsathletics.com website later in December for the top 10 moments of 2014.
Division 3 allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
And welcome back here to our Beacons halftime show. You just saw the highlights from the Beacons win over Brandeis on Tuesday. The women's basketball team earning a 69-65 victory. They fell just short today against Eastern Connecticut State. A great game, 63-59 in favor of the Warriors. Back and forth game. Eastern Connecticut State just a bit too strong on the boards as the Warriors earned a 15 rebound advantage, and that was the difference. Jill Ratrowski with a big game as she finished with another double-double, 22 points to lead all scorers. Let's check out the halftime stats here from the men's game between these two programs. UMass Boston's held the edge on the boards, 22-14. It's helped out in a couple of other areas as the assists almost even, turnovers almost even. Field goal percentage, Beacon shooting 51.6%, Eastern at 48.4%. Both teams came into the game allowing opponents to shoot just 40%, so the offense has been great. The big difference in why this isn't an 8 or 9 point game still has been the three-point shooting of Trayshawn Preston. He's hit 4 threes, 4 of the team's 5. He's 4 of 6 from behind the arc. Eastern 5 of 10 overall. UMass Boston's only attempted 2 3-point shots. Check out the team leaders. And you see Preston, the team leader for Eastern Connecticut State with 14. Mike Campbell has been phenomenal for UMass Boston. He's got 11 on 5 of 7 shooting. Been a big spark for the Beacons off the bench. Karl Agenor already with 10 rebounds and 8 points. He's looking primed for another double-double. Hugh Lindo, that's been the surprise. He only has 5 boards. He's the second best rebounder in the conference behind Karl Agenor. Leo Medina's done a nice job manning the point. He has 4 assists for UMass Boston. Tarshi Brown has 3 assists. And then steals and blocks, pretty minimal thus far. As we'll take a commercial break, and then we'll bring you a couple of more tidbits from around the rest of the conference and here in Beaconville.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, and I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
And welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. It's a 2-point lead for the Beacons at halftime. Let's check around the rest of Beaconville. Well, thanks to our directors, as the Beacons women's team lost 63-59 to the LEC preseason favorites. Men's hockey team is just about to be underway as they travel to St. Michael's College in ECAC East play today at 4 p.m. And the indoor track and field team participating in their second meet of the year as they're at the Reggie Lewis Center for the Roxbury Community College All-Comers meet. Checking around the LEC. Busy day of action today in men's basketball. UMass Dartmouth with a 4-point lead over Southern Maine at halftime in that game up in Gorham, Maine. UMass Dartmouth comes in as one of 3 teams at 2-0 in the conference. Southern Maine at 0-2, although they do own a win over Division I University of Maine this year. Plymouth State leads Western Connecticut State in early second half action. As Plymouth State 0-2, Western Connecticut State 1-1. And in the final game, Rhode Island College, the defending Little East Conference tournament champ, leads Keene State 25-21 in a matchup of 2-0 teams in conference play. The third is Eastern Connecticut State as Karl Agenor is going to be called for the foul there, trying to hedge the screen. As he and Kevin Lumine collided, and Agenor called for the foul there. His team's first. here in the first 10 seconds of half number 2. For the Beacons, it's Medina, Joseph, Young, Agenor, and Campbell. So a little bit of a different look as Tarshi Brown lines up a 3, can't get it to go. Agenor picks up rebound number 11. Medina ahead for Campbell. Campbell's going to take it himself, and he is blocked there off the hands of Hugh Lindo. One thing you can almost guarantee when Mike Campbell gets the ball is he's going to take the ball strong to the hoop. Sometimes he's a little bit out of control, but he's going to make the defense really have to play some good D as Campbell, the off balance too, give him 13 on just 8 field goal attempts as the Beacons lead is back to 4. UMass Boston led by as many as 9 in the first half as that one's off a Beacon and out of bounds. Eastern Connecticut State's largest lead was 3 at 13-11 of the first half. That also happened to be their last lead as we had 2 ties and 2 lead changes in half number 1. Tarshi Brown along the baseline, leaving it off, and that one's up and in from Brandon Kuzinski, who missed the majority of that first half, picked up 2 fouls in the opening 3 minutes. Kuzinski was limited to just 1 minute of play, actually. Picked up 2 fouls in the first minute of action, but back in there, 3 fouls to give here in the second half. A much bigger post presence for Eastern Connecticut State, if not larger. As Agenor spots up from the elbow and gets it to fall. He's in double digits now for UMass Boston. Second player to reach double digits, giving him 10 points and 12 boards. He's had a couple of double-doubles this year. Preston spots up for the long 2, can't get it to fall. Kuzinski with the rebound, and he's fouled. And Greg Young a little bit upset. He thought that he was fouled from behind on that rebound. Kuzinski to the line as Young picks up his second, team's second of the second half. Kuzinski, 6 of 12 from the free throw line. He is a very good shooter, shooting 63.9%, tops on the squad as misses that one. He's had 1 field goal attempt today, and it went in. One note for UMass Boston, Omar Benabicha over on the trainer's table, as he was a starter in the first half. And he's being attended to by Mark Weber, the Beacons assistant trainer, as Kuzinski off the mark on both of those free throws. Eastern now just 2 of 7 from the free throw line. Campbell all the way has that one kicked as Campbell got a bit of a shove there, no call. Out of bounds off the Warriors, and Karl Agenor will inbound the ball with 25 seconds to go on the shot clock. Agenor looking for some help. He'll throw it out towards midcourt where Karl Joseph makes the catch. Joseph, such a talented leaper as a high jumper and as a basketball player. Have to imagine that he played wide receiver or tight end back in high school. Young all the way to the rim around Lindo. Can't get the finish, in and out of the hands of Agenor. And it's Brown with the rebound. Brown sends it across for Lou Mean. Eastern has numbers. And the Beacons do a great job of getting back as Karl Joseph cut off Lou Mean's pass to the basket. Nice inbounds pass there from Preston to Kuzinski. Young up top for Joseph. Joseph all the way to the rim. And he's fouled. Kuzinski thought he had position, but Lou Mean was there as well. And that will be Kuzinski's third. Joseph's first free throw is up and good. Eastern will stick with Kuzinski despite the 3 fouls. And Joseph gets both to fall. So despite a slow-ish start for the senior all-conference player, Joseph's up to 7 points as Brown takes it all the way, draws the foul on Agenor, and he'll have to go to the line for 2 free throws. Second foul on Agenor, third overall on the Beacons. As the only thing slowing down this game right now are the referee's whistles. Teams heading to the line as Brown gets the first one to fall. Tarshiu came in as the third leading scorer on Eastern Connecticut State, now has 7 points. Second one off the mark, and Joseph pulls it down. Medina races into the front court. Across for Campbell. Campbell loses the ball. Kuzinski's there, and Kuzinski will get it off for Preston. And now Medina draws the offensive foul on Preston. Bit of a swipe with the elbow. It's the second foul on Eastern. They're actually going to call that on Kuzinski. That's his fourth. He'll head to the bench with Michael Thomas Shiro checking in, and now Salim Omerovich, who had a short run in the first half, will check in for Agenor. Agenor can't believe it. Agnor's been one of, if not the best player on the floor for the Beacons, by far their best rebounder, and he'll take a break right now. Hopefully back shortly. Medina looking for some help, finds Omerovich, can't make the catch. Medina, a bounce pass to Young as the Beacons avoid the tie-up. Campbell right back to Medina, under 20 on the shot clock, 16:37 to play. Beacons lead by 3. They've led for about the last 20 minutes as Omerovich has some words with the bench. 8 seconds to go now. Medina kick out for Young. 3 is up, and it rims in. Big bucket there for Gregory Young. Just his third basket of the game. He's got 9 points. Up top, it's Brown. Brown picks up the dribble for Preston. Preston being guarded closely there by Medina. He'll pull it all the way out. 10 seconds to go. Medina, a couple times, has pulled off 5-second calls on opponents. Trying to do so here. Gives it off for Lindo. Ball is stripped away for a moment. Wide open 3 for Shiro, and he answers. Second 3 of the day for Michael Thomas Shiro. And that was 30 seconds of great defense from the Beacons, and then just a small letdown after the ball was torn loose. And Shiro makes them pay. 3-point game once again. Ball went out of bounds right at midcourt, and it'll be Joseph inbounding to Medina. Medina hands it off for Young. Young looking to make a move. Had a pick from Omerovich, elected to not use it. Campbell up top for Medina as the Beacons try to get their offense moving. 15 on the shot clock, 15:24 to play. As Medina was looking for Young to make a cut. Young made it a little bit slow, and Medina tosses it out of bounds. Beacons with the substitution. Ivan Kutz Jr. back in for the second time today as Omerovich quickly takes a seat. Lindo up top being guarded closely by Joseph. It's been a fun battle between those two undersized forwards, as that is a great play by Kevin Lumine. Gets it to go off the glass, cutting the deficit to 1. UMass Boston's led for 20 minutes, trying to keep that lead against Eastern Connecticut State. As the Beacons look for their first home conference win of the year. They were close with Rhode Island College as Campbell takes it all the way. Close with Rhode Island College for the first 30 minutes against the defending Little East Conference tournament champs, before Rhode Island College went on a late run to win by 23 as Young gives up the foul from behind on Lindo. Third foul on Young, fourth on the Beacons, and Lindo will head to the line for 2. Lindo's first free throw, rims in and out. Eastern now 3 of 10 from the free throw line. Pretty surprising number. As the second one off the mark as well, make it 3 of 11, and it's off of Tarshiu Brown and out of bounds. Go back to the Beacons. Campbell across for Joseph and right back. Young up top, as Young will go all the way, and we're going to get a travel on Young as he tried to keep the pivot and then make a move. Agenor standing at the end of the bench, wants to get back in there as the junior transfer, 10 points, 11 rebounds. Just one rebound here in the second half after the pretty quick pull. Lumine gives it up to Preston. Now Lindo working against Joseph. Lindo all the way out top for Brown. Goes all the way, draws the foul, and puts it in with the finger roll. Chance to tie it here. Tarshi Brown, the freshman of Rockville, Connecticut, a pretty move. Campbell with the foul, that's his third. Joseph tried to come all the way through and make the block, and Brown able to avoid the block and the hands of three Beacons players to make the shot and hits the free throw, and we're even at 50 all. Karl Agenor will check in at the next whistle as Campbell asks Fred Epps to move out of the way. Ivan Cutts takes a baseline jumper over Lindo, can't get it to fall. And Brown with the rebound. Brown has Lindo leaking out. Now he finds him. Joseph is back in time. Leaves it for Brown. Brown can't find it, and the Beacons are called for a foul on the arm. Young with his fourth foul. 4 fouls. Beacons has 6 in the game, and the Beacons will call timeout as Gregory Young is probably going to get subbed out. Joseph was the player who was being taken out, and that's a tough spot as Young will likely have to head to the bench for about the next 7, maybe 8 minutes. And Charlie Titus will have some words for his team. We'll send you to a commercial before coming back for this LEC conference contest.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Back to live action. Eastern will have the ball coming out of the timeout. Beacons already with 16 fouls compared to just 2 for the Warriors. That could be trouble for UMass Boston, as the good news, the Warriors have shot just 3 of 11 from the free throw line. The bad news, the Warriors could be taking quite a few more free throws here in half number 2. Update from the men's hockey game. The Beacons took a 1-0 lead in the first minute of play. Colin Larkin with the goal. St. Michael's College responded back in the next 5 minutes as it was Jeremy Wong scoring for St. Michael's to tie the game 1-1 with less than 5 minutes into the game, as we'll try to keep you posted on that one. Eastern inbounding from underneath the Beacons basket as Young is still out there with the 4 fouls. Lindo across for Shiro, blocked by Young. It's an interesting decision by Gregory Young, jumping into a 3-point shooter there with 4 fouls, and luckily he got enough of the ball as Karl Joseph will check in for Gregory Young. So he checked out, checked right back in, and Young with those 4 fouls likely will take a long seat. Preston finds Tarshi Brown. Eastern is not led by more than 3. Wide open 3 for Shiro. That's his 3rd of the game. Michael Thomas Shiro came in averaging 3 points per game. He's got 9 in the contest. He's been a nice spark off the bench for Bill Geithner. Campbell across for Ivan Cutts. Off the glass, too strong, and he'll go to the line for 2. Lindo called for his first foul, 3rd on the Warriors, is Ivan Cutts, who has not seen a ton of action in his first year with the Beacons, heads to the line. Knocks down the free throw. That is Cutts' first point as a UMass Boston Beacon. 15 minutes of play coming into the game. He's seen close to 10 here as he knocks down both free throws. Played at Southern New Hampshire a year ago, a Division II school in the New England 10 conference, or Northeast 10 rather. But has been towards the end of the Beacons bench for much of this season. Beacons trail by a point after the pair of free throws. Preston up top for Brown. And Brown will shoot it over, cuts too strong. Lindo with the push-off, and that's his second foul. Team's fourth, so back-to-back fouls on the Warriors have tightened up the foul count a little bit. Epps, Joseph, Campbell, Agenor, and Cuts for the Beacons. Shiro, Preston, Brown, Lindo, and Lumine for Eastern as Agenor is a bit strong. Epps reads the pass perfectly. He looks to push, loses the dribble, somehow comes up with it, loses it again. He's on the ground looking for a timeout, and the Beacons have one referee credit the Beacons with a timeout, one referee call for the jump, and they are going to give the Beacons the timeout as the referees had differing opinions. The referee close to the Beacons bench had the timeout. Referee close to the ball had the tie-up. We'll take a timeout along with the teams. It's a 1-point game here at 12:24 to play.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
UMass Boston ball out of the timeout after Fred Epps lost it and then got it back, and the Beacons called timeout. Epps up top running the offense with Leo Medina on the bench. UMass Boston looking for what would be a shocking upset. Eastern has won 21 consecutive Little East Conference regular season contests. Beacons have lost 18 consecutive games against conference foes. As a nice play there by Agenor to give the Beacons the lead right back. 4 straight points from UMass Boston as Campbell finds the loose ball. 3-on-1. Campbell takes it himself and nearly drew the contact there from Preston as Michael Campbell's got 17 points and Bill Geithner calls a timeout. So nice little 6-0 run there from the Beacons, and the lead is 3 as we will take a timeout along with the teams in a very exciting contest.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Back to live action. 11:49 to go. Both teams still in their huddles. From here, UMass Boston will travel to Plymouth State on Tuesday in a conference contest. Then they'll host Bridgewater State Thursday at 7:30 before traveling to Western Connecticut State, 3 p.m. game next Saturday. For Eastern, they will host UMass Dartmouth, that game on Tuesday. And then on Saturday, they'll travel to the University of Southern Maine. That Dartmouth game could be a matchup of 2 3-0. Actually, by that point, 2 3-0 teams in conference, as Dartmouth right now in a dogfight with Southern Maine. Keene State currently trails Rhode Island College, who's 1-1, but their 1-1 record not indicative of how good they've been this year. Control there by Lumine. Needs some help. Finds it in Michael Thomas Shiro. Over to Preston. Shiro gets it back. He's been a great spot-up three-point shooter for the Warriors. The Beacons have left him a couple of times. Shiro all the way to the lane, off the front of the rim and in. And Shiro is up to 13. Bit of a surprise. Campbell loses it, gets it right back, puts it up, draws the foul on Preston. Campbell got fortunate there. It was tipped away from behind, but he lost his footing, forced him to slow down, picked it up, and Campbell will head to the line for 2. And all of a sudden, that's the 3rd straight foul on the Warriors. Treshawn Preston picks up foul number 1. Meekins have 1 player with 4 fouls. That's Gregory Young. As Campbell's first free throw, put a lot under that one, hits the front of the rim. Campbell now 1 of 3 from the free throw line. As misses the second one as well. Brandon Kuzinski has 4 fouls for the Warriors as the Beacons strip it away. Cuts slow to pick up the handle, but the Beacons get the turnover nonetheless, and now it's out of bounds off of Hugh Lindo. Beacons leading by 1. Kuzinski and Young with 4 fouls apiece, and then the only other player with more than 2 fouls is Campbell, who's had 3 for the majority of this half. Campbell gives it over to Fred Epps, has done a great job as one of 2 point guards on the Beacons. Agenor catches the entry pass from Joseph, and the foul there. That's going to go on either Lindo or Preston. A great feed from Joseph. That'll be Preston with his second, and Agenor now with 14 points and 12 rebounds, a chance to finish the N1 opportunity, and does so, give him 15 as the Beacons push the lead back to 4. Eastern is led by just 3 points, or by as many as 3 points here in the second half. Their lead only lasted about a minute. The Beacons have led for closing in on 25 minutes in this game. Lindo all the way to the rack, too strong. Agenor with the board as Lindo, almost too athletic that time, jumped up too high, and then a nice play by Michael Thomas Shiro to knock it away as Campbell was wide open in the paint for a moment. Joseph inbounds it to Ivan Cutts, who's seen a lot more time than usual. Beacons going with a smaller, more athletic lineup against Eastern Connecticut State. It's made for a very fun game to watch. Agenor on the block, working against Lindo. Spin move, tries to find Cutts. It's tapped around for Campbell. Campbell all the way to the hoop. Huge block from Lindo, but Epps gets there. 10 on the shot clock, and now we've got a stoppage as Hugh Lindo is down. Appears to have injured his right knee. The good news is he's back up. Might have just been a knee-to-knee contact rather than anything too severe, as the Eastern trainer at the end of the bench is trying to see if she needs to come out there. And it'll be Kuzinski with those 2 fouls checking in for Lindo. So Brandon Kuzinski back out there with 10:05 to go, more out of necessity than anything else, with Lindo definitely hobbling a little bit, and he'll head to the end of the bench to be attended by the trainer. Eastern does have more size if they need it. Agenor over to Epps up top, 6 on the shot clock. Epps with 5. Epps working on Preston. Pull back 3. It's up, off the backboard, no rim, and it'll be a shot clock violation. Inbound as the Beacons put a soft full court press out there. Everyone falling off except for Fred Epps as he guards Preston closely. Lumine around Campbell to the hole and gets it to fall. Nice move there by Kevin Lumine, as Lumine is up to 8 points. Second leading scorer on this Eastern team, but it's been mostly quiet. Joseph over to Cutts, working on Thomas Shiro. Down low for Agenor, working against Kuzinski with those 4 fouls. Pullback jumper, and he gets it to fall. Gets a nice bounce off the front of the rim as the Beacons double team press in the backcourt. Wide open, Lumine in the corner, too strong, rebound loose. Agenor fighting with Kuzinski, gets the important offensive board. Shiro, another 3. 4 on the game, and give him 16 for the contest. Big rebound there from Kuzinski, and the Beacons out of position as the pass from Agenor to Campbell. No communication. It's into the seat of Charlie Titus. And Eastern a chance to regain the lead for just the second time in half number 2 as Lindo's at the end of the bench right now. Not sure if he'll be able to check back in as Epps will check out. Leo Medina back in there. Gregory Young is in as well as Ivan Cutts will take a seat. So Kuzinski and Young both out there with 4 fouls. You foul out with 5 as Agenor forces the steal on Preston. He's got Shiro behind him. The foul can't get the finish. He'll head to the line for 2. Karl Agenor provided the double team, and now Agenor, who's tied with Campbell for the team lead with 17 points, have a chance to add to that total. Agenor, though, just 1 of 3 from the line. He and Campbell have combined to miss all the Beacons' free throws. As UMass Boston now 12 out of 17 with the first one falling. Agenor 18 points and 12 boards. Second one too strong, and it's pulled down by Tarshi Brown. 2-point game, 8:32 to play. As the Beacons look to break out of that long time snide that has lasted into the 3rd consecutive season. The Beacons lost their final game of the 2012-2013 season. That game came up at Southern Maine. A strong move there from Lou Mean. Too strong, though, as Young pulls down the rebound. 0-15 a year ago with a conference tournament loss at Eastern Connecticut State as Campbell picks up his dribble, throws it up. He's blocked, and Agenor with the rebound and the easy finish. And now an 0-2 start to conference play, trying to avoid an 0-3 start, as that's a fortunate play for the Beacons. Campbell was easily stuffed, but it fell right into the welcoming hands of Karl Agenor, who's now got 20. Preston, another 3. Up and good. It's silky smooth for the junior guard. And Preston now has 17 to take the lead back from Michael Tomashiro. Medina, the answer, rims in and out. And it's a chance for Eastern to take the lead. Tomashiro looking to push, goes all the way past Young off the underside of the rim. Knew that Young had those 4 fouls. The Beacons maybe hiding Young a little bit on Tomashiro, who's more of a spot-up shooter. Young with those 4 fouls. Young down low. He's got Joseph. Joseph drew some contact from Tarshi Brown, didn't get the call, and now Joseph a little bit slow to get back, a little frustrated. Preston across for Tarshi Brown. Leaves it off for Preston. Preston thought about the 3. Instead, Brown will take it. Front rim, no good. Long rebound, and it's picked up by Tomashiro. To the corner, Lou Mean thought about it. And now he'll bring it back out. New 35 on the shot clock. 6:45 to go in regulation. Hugh Lindo waiting to check back in. Campbell has 3 fouls, guarding Lou Mean very closely. And Lou Mean all the way around. Huge block from Agenor. Can't get the loose ball before it went out, but Agenor read it the whole way as Lou Mean had a nice reverse layup in the first half. Tried to do the same thing here in the second, and Agenor wasn't having it. Kuzinski to the bench with those 4 fouls as Lindo appears to be okay after suffering maybe some knee-to-knee contact. Fred Epps will check in shortly for UMass Boston. It's Tarshi Brown to the rim. Lindo can't make the catch on. He was wide open. Pass ahead for Joseph. He's got Young. Bounce pass, puts it up with the right hand, and that's a great result for the Beacons. It looked like it would be an easy layup for Eastern Connecticut State. Instead, it's Young with the easy finish. Give him 11. Lead back to 3. The Beacons have been perilously close to giving up the lead over the past couple minutes. Preston all the way just over the hand of Agenor and gets the finish. And the lead cut back to 1. Folks, if this keeps up, we're going to have a great finish for you here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. We'll take a break along with the teams after the Eastern Connecticut State timeout.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Both teams huddle around their respective coaching staffs. UMass Boston has put in so much energy into this game. The Beacons pushing the pace as much as possible. Both teams shooting over 50%. The Beacons at 53.1%. This is an Eastern team that came in second in the conference in points allowed per game at 64. The Beacons have already gone over that with 6:01 to go. The Beacons have done a nice job rebounding the ball, +5, 9 offensive rebounds. But Eastern is able to stay in this game, 9 of 17 from behind the arc. The Beacons just 2 of 5. As both teams have 14+ assists. The passing has been nice. UMass Boston a 10-5 advantage in steals. Epps over to Joseph. And now Omerovich is out there. Pass inside for Agenor. Lindo comes away with the steal. And his pass from Tarshi Brown just ahead of Young, who's playing with 4. As Omerovich has seen only a couple of small periods of time out there. Wonder how long of a run he's going to get here with under 6 minutes to play. Brown, as Eastern has a chance to take the lead back. They've only led once in this half. Brown all the way, draws the contact as he hit the underside of the rim on that layup attempt. Agenor picks up his 3rd foul as Michael Campbell looked like he was going to head to the scorer's table, but now he'll head back to the bench. And actually now he'll check in between the 2 free throws. Tarshi Brown, his free throw is up. Rather, Thomas Shiro. Folks, it's been a long afternoon flying solo here at the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium, but there's no excuse for that one as Michael Thomas Shiro has made a name for himself today. 16 points, 5 of 7, shooting 4 for 4 from behind the arc. And now 3 of 4 from the free throw line as he is 2 points behind Trayshawn Preston for the team lead. We are tied at 66. Great Little East Conference matchup. Entry pass for Joseph. Joseph draws the contact and was blocked. Tarshi Brown and Hugh Lindo were there. Lindo had the block, and it will be Tarshi Brown with the foul. So Joseph to the line for 2 free throws. That was the 8th foul on Eastern Connecticut State. So the 9th will lead to a 1-and-1, and then the Beacons will be shooting 2 the rest of the way as Joseph's too strong on that one. Had been 5 for 5 to start the day from the free throw line. Overall in the season, 67.9%. Beacons with 7 team fouls. As Joseph gets the second one to fall. In case you're wondering, Omar Benabicha has been on the trainer's table the whole way here in the second half. You pretty much rule him out for the game as he's icing his left ankle. So the Beacons playing 1 player short of their normal rotation. Preston working against Mike Campbell. Down low for Lindo. Lindo triple team, swings it out top, and it's a wide open 3 for Shiro, and another one. He's 5 of 5, and the lead is 2 for Eastern. Michael Thomas Shiro came in averaging 3 points per game in 12 games. That's 36 points. Had 23 points as a sophomore, but he's having a huge day as he's got 20. Campbell all the way. Lindo and Shiro were in there, and we'll see which one is called for this foul as the Beacons continue to be aggressive. Free throws 21 and 22 coming up as the Beacons shooting 65% from the free throw line at 13 of 20. They're going to put that one on Shiro, who's picked up 4 fouls. He and Kuzinski with 4 apiece. As Campbell can't get the first one to fall. Campbell 17 points on 8 of 12 shooting, but just 1 of 5 from the free throw line. As the second one is up once again off the mark, and Lindo pulls down the rebound, just his 7th of the game. Those are quiet numbers for Lindo. Came in second in the conference, over 10 rebounds per game. Agenor has 14. He's the conference's leading rebounder as Lindo takes it all the way and finishes with the finger roll. push it out to a 4-point lead, the largest of the afternoon for Eastern. 4 minutes to play. The Beacons need some baskets. Their free throw shooting has hurt them, as they're now 13-22. Campbell spots up for three, can't get it to fall. Epps has his hand in there, and he's called for the foul with Lou Mean, as Epps can't believe that he wasn't able to get the jump ball. He had his hand in there for a while, and we'll see a 1-and-1 opportunity here for Kevin Lumine. 8th foul on the Beacons. Charlie Titus talks to Mike Campbell. Wasn't happy with that 3-point shot so early in the shot clock. Lumine, a 73.8% free throw shooter, best on the team, hits the first. And these are dangerous times right now if you're a Beacons fan, down by 5. As Eastern with their largest lead of the game at 6. And this is a Warriors team that knows how to finish. Nationally ranked team, they played a very difficult non-conference schedule. Went 14-0 last year in the conference for a reason. Some great free throw shooters, although those two are just 12 of 20, as Agenor couldn't find the rebound and it goes off his hands and out of bounds. Actually, they're now 7 of 16 from the free throw line, 10 of 18 from behind the three-point arc. Surprising that their numbers are better from behind the three-point line than the free throw line, but I'm sure Bill Geithner would take a win either way on the road. 6-point game with 3:20 to play. Up top for Tarshi Brown. Drives by Young. Joseph looked for the charge, doesn't get it. No call, and the lead is 8. Beacons need some points, and they need them soon, as Joseph thought he had done enough that time. Young up top. Beacons offense bogging down right now. Campbell over to Joseph. Joseph looks down low for Epps. The pass is stolen away by Lindo. 3-on-1. It's Lou Mean. Joseph with a huge block. Agenor comes up with it. Now it's Campbell over to Young. Young the trailer. The three is up. Short. Agenor the rebound. He's blocked by Tarshi Brown, and Brown is called for the foul. What a huge block from Karl Joseph, who timed it perfectly. This is the man who can jump over 7 feet in the high jump, a 3-time All-American, and when his team needed him most, came up with a huge block to keep this at single digits, as Agenor calmly knocks down the first free throw. Now 3 of 6. Team high 21 points and 15 rebounds. As he hits both, we've got a timeout. Believe it's coming on the Beacons bench, not quite sure, but we'll take a timeout along with the team. 6-point game. The Beacons need a comeback, and they need it shortly here with 2:41 to play.
My name is Allie Greenberg. I'm an ice hockey player here. I'm a junior majoring in human services, and I'm part of the Key for Hope Foundation. We recycle the keys and stock food pantries with the money. I wanted to bring this foundation to the athletic department, and I believe we can end hunger starting at UMass Boston. I got started with the Key for Hope Foundation due to my father. He's the one who founded this program.
I said, what can I do with a classroom environment giving back? And everybody's got an old key, and keys are made of brass, and brass is a recyclable commodity. And thinking about how many children are in a school system and how far we can go with taking this to do something right for humanity, I started a foundation called Key for Hope, feeding others with the collecting of keys. In 2.5 years, we collected over 500,000 keys. And I'm excited about this whole opportunity because you know what? One key may not seem like much to most people, but when you collect the masses of keys that we've collected, it shows that there is an ability for people to get together and create what I'm considering our hunger-fighting opportunity.
Back to live action, bringing you some updates from around the rest of the conference. Great game up in Gorham, 59-59 between UMass Dartmouth and Southern Maine. Western Connecticut State and Plymouth State tied the last update, 44 apiece with 10 minutes left in the second half. And Rhode Island College just a 5-point lead over Keene State with 8:28 to go down in Providence, as Beacons in a full court press out of the timeout. Brown across for Lumine, just barely able to get across the line with about 2 extra seconds to spare, as this is a big possession for the Beacons defensively. Got 2 points on their last possession. need a stop down 6. Young with the swipe. Young all alone puts it up, two-hand jam, and the deficit is 4. The Beacons trying to get back into their press. Pass across, too strong for Lumine, and the Beacons now with a little bit of life after back-to-back turnovers. Tension is building in this building, and on our broadcast crew, we've got a pair of Nutmeg State residents on our crew. They're very enthused whenever the Connecticut teams in the Little East come up. As it's Joseph, down low for Young. Young working on Lumine, a couple of moves, puts up the 4-foot jumper. He's got back-to-back buckets, and the deficit is 2. It was 8 points. Karl Joseph with a huge block to keep it at 8 on a 3-on-1 break, and now the Beacons have life. 4-on-1 break this time. Preston takes it himself into Agenor, draws the foul. Agnor's a little bit surprised about it. That should be his 4th, as Agenor tried to go straight up, and Preston, one of the best shooters not only in the conference, but really in the country with that silky smooth left-hand shot, will head to the line for 2. The tri-captain this year, shooting 72.5%. He's a 1,000-point scorer for his career. Did that over the holidays with 1,000-point coming against Messiah University Messiah College, actually, down in Pennsylvania, as Preston off on the first one. As right now, with that second made free throw, Eastern Connecticut 8 of 18. The deficit is 6. The Beacons haven't hit many threes today. They're looking down low. Agenor can't make the catch, and Michael Thomas Shiro throws it off of Agenor. Didn't have his foot on the line. The Beacons were hoping that would be the call, and now Eastern Connecticut State looking to break the press once again. Lumine to his butt, and we're going to get a timeout from Bill Geithner, as Eastern Connecticut State has looked a little bit sloppy in their press break, as we will stick right here with the teams. It's a 3-point game, 1:31 to go. We'll give you a reset. The Beacons with 19 fouls, so any foul from here on out will send Eastern Connecticut State to the line for 2. The Beacons with 10 have forced 10 team fouls on Eastern Connecticut State, so both teams will be shooting 2. The possession arrow is with UMass Boston. And we wish we could give you the timeouts left, but that's the one thing scoreboard doesn't help us with up here in the broadcast booth on the mezzanine level. Timeouts not listed on this side of the board. It's 31 on the shot clock, 1:31 to go. Immediately head to Tarshy Brown. Leaves it for Lindo. Up top for Lumine, and Eastern Connecticut State trying to kill some clock. The Beacons do not need to give a foul, although Campbell is right on Preston trying to draw the 5-second call. Thomas Shiro having a career day, and he draws the foul against Karl Joseph. Shiro came in shooting 8 of 11 from the free throw line. He's 3 of 4 today, already with 20 points, has a chance to take the team lead and extend this lead. First one rims in, give him 21, as the contingent of Eastern fans who stuck around for game number 2, very appreciative of that one. Shiro, the junior out of Westerly, Rhode Island, set the school record for assists. His second one's too strong. Lindo, though, with the offensive board, has had a quiet day, just his 8th, but that one is absolutely huge. And now Campbell reaches in on Preston. That's 4 on Campbell, and more importantly, Preston, who just hit 1 of 2, has a chance to extend this lead further. The Beacons did not need to give fouls on either of those plays with so much time left on the clock, trailing by 1 possession. Preston's first free throw, nothing but net. Pushes the lead to 5. 4 on Young, 4 on Campbell for the Beacons. For Eastern, Kuzinski's playing with 4 along with Thomas Shiro, as Preston knocks down both of those to take the lead back for Eastern with 22 points on the day. He and Thomas Shiro have combined for 43. Deficit is 6. The Beacons need a 3. Campbell tries to give it to them, and he knocks down the 3. That's his first 3, just the 3rd of the day for the Beacons. Down by 3, and Campbell gives up the foul as he slipped there trying to poke it away. That's 5 fouls on Michael Campbell, who clearly had his best game of the season. Campbell ends the day with 20 points on 9 of 15 shooting. Also had a rebound and assist. As Campbell's going to need to check out after the first free throw. Interesting to see who the Beacons put out there. They could put out Medina, Cuts, or Epps, theoretically, and instead it's going to be Stephen McGuire, who's a three-point shooter, despite playing the 5. As Kevin Lumine to the line. First one rims out. Nearly fell. Keeps it at a one-possession game. Lumine, the top free throw shooter on the team. Although Eastern is now just 11 of 23. He gets the second one. That's important to push it back to a two-possession game with under a minute to play. Epps across for Young. Young can shoot the 3, as can Agenor, Joseph, and McGuire. And honestly, Epps can probably do it. We just haven't seen much of it yet this year. Agenor backing down Lindo. Double clutches and gets it to fall. Agnor's been huge today. 24 points, 15 rebounds. The Beacons in their press. Thomas Shiro getting double teamed along the sideline. Leaves it across for Preston. The Beacons do not need to give a foul. 3 seconds to go between shot clock and game clock. But if they're going to win this game, they're going to need a stop, as Joseph gives up the foul on Thomas Shiro. As Charlie Titus looks at one of his senior captains and they discuss it. Realistically, you can see the thought process in Joseph's head. Shiro might not be the guy to foul, though, as he's 4 of 6 from the free throw line. If he hits both, the Beacons will be down by 2 possessions again. And he falls forward after that made free throw, a big one there, as it pushes the lead back to 3. Still 23.3 seconds. The Beacons can extend this game, but it's going to lead to 2 free throws every time for Eastern. Second one rims out. The Beacons have a chance to tie. Agenor with the rebound. Epps ahead for Joseph. Joseph back to Agenor, up to Epps. 15 on the clock. The Beacons either need a quick 2 or they need to take the 3. Young, step back 3. It's up off the mark. Rebound loose. Tarshi Shiro brings it down. And it's Preston getting fouled by McGuire. And once again, it's Shiro Brown. Thomas Shiro. Can't get the name right, but he's had a phenomenal game. Michael Thomas Shiro with a huge rebound. And now, if Trayshawn Preston can hit 1 of 2, it'll pretty much put this game away with 7.2 seconds to play. As McGuire called for his second foul. Preston knocks down the first. Give him 23, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Second one is up and good. Pushes the lead out to 5 with 7.2 seconds. Epps over to Joseph. The Beacons aren't going to get a shot up. Tapped away, and that'll do it. So the Beacons drop a pair of conference contests to the Warriors. The women's game was a 4-point margin. The men's game a 5-point margin. The Beacons stuck with 2 of the top teams on their respective side of the conference all afternoon long, but not quite enough in the finish, as Eastern Connecticut State uses a career day from Michael Thomas Shiro to earn a big win. As Eastern, with that victory, improves to 11-3, 3-0 in conference play. The Beacons fall just short at 8-4, falling to 0-3 as UMass Boston outscored the Warriors in the first half. Just not enough here in half number 2. We'll take a timeout, and then we'll head to the Beacons post-game show as UMass Boston falls 83-78.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
My name is Allie Greenberg. I'm an ice hockey player here. I'm a junior, majoring in human services, and I'm part of the Key for Hope Foundation. We recycle the keys and stock food pantries with the money. I wanted to bring this foundation to the athletic department, and I believe we can end hunger starting at UMass Boston. I got started with the Key for Hope Foundation due to my father. He's the one who founded this program.
I said, what can I do with a classroom environment giving back? And everybody's got an old key. And keys are made of brass, and brass is a recyclable commodity. And thinking about how many children are in a school system and how far we can go with taking this to do something right for humanity, I started a foundation called Key for Hope, feeding others with the collecting of keys. In 2.5 years, we collected over 500,000 keys. And I'm excited about this whole opportunity because you know what? One key may not seem like much to most people, but when you collect the masses of keys that we've collected, it shows that there is an ability for people to get together and create what I'm considering our hunger-fighting opportunity.
And welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. Thanks for your patience. We'll take you through the Beacons post-game show quite quickly. See it right there. Eastern outscoring the Beacons by 7 in the second half. The Beacons 39 points in both halves. The defense just not quite there in the second, giving up 46 points. Check out the team leaders, as it was a pretty close game all game long. Karl Agenor and Trayshawn Preston, the leading scorers. Agenor, a monster double-double, 24 points, 16 rebounds. Trayshawn Preston with 24. He was joined the big game by Michael Thomas Shiro with 22 points. Shiro 5 for 5 from behind the arc. Leo Medina led the Beacons with 7 assists. And then Hugh Lindo, talked about him being really strong across the board. 8 rebounds to lead the team, 4 steals, 3 blocks. He also added 6 points on 3 of 5 shooting. He's an easy lock for an all-conference team selection this year. Let's look at the team statistics overall. UMass Boston, small edge in the rebounds, assists, turnovers close. Really the biggest difference in this game, though, was the three-point field goals, as Shiro and Preston able to knock down 10 threes. The Beacons just 3 on the day. One last thing, folks, we'd like to give our crew a shout-out today. Brian Fiella, first ever time on the TriCaster, did a great job working alongside Kyle Thibodeau. My name is Seth Laurenti, your play-by-play guy and producer. And our camera operators, a long shift for them. They did a great job. Ryan Augustine, Brittany Castillo, and Charles LaPaglia. That'll do it for us, folks, from the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. Make sure to check back on Thursday night, a non-conference doubleheader against Bridgewater State. The women's game at 5:30. The men's will be back in action at 7:30. Have a great weekend, folks, and enjoy your NFL football. I'm not going to say go Patriots because I'm not a Patriots fan, but enjoy the game.